people of the internet.
Hello.
Welcome to 2022. I
It
am
is.
American McGee.
And I am Martin from the future.
We are in the future compared to most of the people watching this. In
Most of
fact,
them.
we were joking that today here in China is January 6th, which apparently in the US is like Insurrection Day. I don't, if you follow the politics, but I can just tell you that here, January 6th is just a normal day. Except that we have been having VPN problems. So we'll start off the new year as we went through many previous years in warning you that we might lose our connection during the stream today. If that happens, we'll jiggle some wires and we'll try to bring it back up. Don't freak out too much. And yeah, what else is going on? We were looking at what's trending on Twitter.
Just to see if there was anything we could talk about that wasn't like terrible.
And Martin pointed out that Jesus and Trump are trending, and I was like, yeah, we're not going to talk about that. But the fact that Days Gone sold 8 million copies, and the guys who worked on that are surprised that they can't make a sequel, that was trending. So I guess we're going to talk about that a little bit today.
A little bit.
We're going to talk about Alice Asylum. And we're going to talk about Plushie Dreadfuls, and we're going to touch briefly on Oz and some other news, new art, story, design Bible stuff. We're going to give away some prizes. What are we giving away?
Plushies.
Plushies.
Some of the new ones. And you get your choice.
Yeah, we're going to let people choose. There are 3 plushes coming to the Mysterious Shop in the next 2 weeks. So if you win today, you can choose which one of these you take home. We will be launching the PTSD bunny. We'll be launching Bun in a Bun, aka Pregnant Bunny. And we will be launching Sleep Paralysis Bunny. So if you do happen to win when we do the drawing or the random selection every half hour on the half hour, then you would be able to choose one of those there rabbits.
So good
Buddies.
to these guys.
Let's say hi. Who do you see? I see some old and familiar faces. Patient 322 and the Octo Chicken.
Wendy J correcting us. It's not Days Gone. It's Gaze Done.
I thought it was Gaze Dawn.
Yeah, that kind of makes more sense. But
I always called it
phonetically
Gaze Dawn.
accurate. Octo Chicken, Rosuav's here. Any new ones?
I see Guitar Bard 4.
Rayan Drakengard.
And there's Craig Spurlock. So yeah, some
Kendrasaura
familiar
2018.
faces and some new names as well.
Greetings to all.
Yes. So I think we've done a pretty good overview of what we're going to do today. Maybe we just jump right in. Did you have anything you wanted to announce or talk about before we got into art review? Or no, play the game. What are we doing first? I've forgotten how to do this.
It's been a while, hasn't it?
It's
It's been like a month.
Yeah, we're supposed to continue our
I think it's
2-year
game
long...
first.
It is game first. Well, while we're in the game, we will make our topic this thing first that we saw on Twitter about Days Gone. That apparently it's sold 8 million copies in 1.5 years. And the original tweet that kind of spawned everybody talking about this came, I guess, from one of the original developers. And he mentioned that the Metacritic score played a role in angering the publisher. I mentioned to Martin that when we went through the development process on Alice Madness Returns, now I have to be very careful here. I don't want to say things that would potentially anger EA or reveal things that I'm not supposed to because they would be covered under a 10-year-old NDA. But normally when a game developer makes a game, the Metacritic score plays heavily into the judgment for the success of the title. And it's kind of weird because the Metacritic score, as these tweets attest to, can be weighted more heavily for or against the developer than the actual sales numbers, which, you know, doesn't make a lot of sense, but that's what's being discussed here. The game sold 9 million copies, but the Metacritic scores made it so Sony could say, we considered this a failure, therefore you're not going to get any further funding, you're not going to make a sequel, yada, yada, yada. So same thing happened with Alice Madness Returns. When we first released the game, we saw a flurry of 80s and 90s, and we were super happy about that. And then I believe it was, and I mentioned this to you, I think it was Eurogamer, and it was, I'm not sure which division, but there was a particular article review, and it came out and it gave the game a 50.
Ooh.
And at the same time that it gave Madness Returns a 50, they were handing out 70s and 80s to games that were clearly demonstrably less well polished and less interesting than Madness Returns. And so we were obviously kind of upset about that. But as soon as Eurogamer kind of opened the floodgates, then we started to see other people following in their charge to give lower scores. So it was for us really disheartening not only to see a 50, which would basically say that the game was an abysmal failure, right? You don't give a 50 to a game that's even like, there were games out at that time where I remember there were things broken about those games. Like they were literally unplayable, or they were largely unplayable for a large population of the people trying to play them, and they weren't getting 50s. So when we saw that, it was really depressing. But the worst part about that was that it was something that EA then picked up and said, well, there you go, you made a bad game because of that score.
Terrible.
It was terrible. And I think that like many more people than us have discussed the issue of, sort of scoring games like this and using that to rank whether a developer deserves, bonuses and things like that. I mean, we're not the first to bring this up. It's been a problem in the industry for a very long time. It's just sad that you can see that even with modern, very successful games, there are publishers and developers that are still suffering under that system. And you'd think by now that there'd be better ways for these guys to analyze how games are successful, and there'd be better ways for deciding how money gets allocated to make new games.
You'd think.
I have no sound in my headphone.
Oh, no.
So that means that if any of you decide to fart, I won't hear it. What's happened? Did it get unplugged?
I don't know, man.
All right.
Can you guys out there hear the sound? Let us know.
It's kind of weird. Let me just check here and make sure that there is no option for sound in this little bottle, this little thing here. So we're not capturing any game. There's no game sound.
Why does Streamlabs do this every time? You turn the PC off, you turn it back on, and something's changed.
Is it Streamlabs or is that Windows?
I don't know.
I don't know, but we're just gonna have to suffer through in silence.
Okay, just imagine the sound effects.
Bleep, bloop,
Yeah, we might do some for you.
Bleep, bloop, bleep, blop. Bleep, bleep, bloop, bloop.
But yeah, there you go. If you haven't played it, play Days Gone. It's great.
It was one of my favorite games of whatever era that was, 2 years ago or something like that. I thought it was really, really good. It has been a long time since, oh no, I don't think that's what I wanted to do there. I was going to say I'm lost, but now I'm dead. That was...
We knew it was coming.
Why did I do that?
We knew it was coming. I saw a comment go past a little while ago now. This is an odd one. Someone's a YouTube comment, because we can't see YouTube comments now. They gave you a bit of a warning that you gave away like some of the plot and spoilers for the game on stream recently, so be careful. We published the entire script for those who want to see it.
Yeah, I think that our streams generally come with a little bit of a spoiler warning. I mean, if you're really worried about that, I wouldn't be here if I was you. Because today we will be reviewing some art and some story stuff and a recap. Why is that not working? Oh, because I've already done it. It's green already. Stop shooting at it. So yeah, if that kind of stuff worries you, go home. Don't be here. Because we are going to talk about the project and the things contained within it. That's only though if I can get past this section. I don't know where to go. We sort of just resumed the game here, and I have no sense of like where I started and where I'm supposed to go from here. Which I guess is not very different from how these things normally go.
Go up there.
I don't think I can make that jump. Do you?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Well, it's still that felt very pixel perfect-y, not really what I was supposed to be doing there.
That's what the game's like.
I don't know about that.
You know, I do want to put like a little spoiler warning button on the Stream Deck.
Well, we have
so we can press it and it pops up on screen so people know to mute.
We do have a little Stream Deck button jigger thing.
And we do have like a spare button to use. We don't really need that one that says it's recording.
But that's a tough thing though, because we jump into spoilers quite suddenly sometimes. And I think that it's just better that if you come to these streams, you be prepared for spoiler nonsense.
I guess.
So beyond that, back to the question of Days Gone and Metacritics and all that kind of nonsense. I did also want to mention that, you know, when we posted up recently the narrative outline and we talked about the end of year review of all the things that were accomplished in this last year, there were a small, not you know, huge amount, but there were a small handful of people on Facebook and Instagram who were like, nothing is getting done. And you know, I replied to some of them. I explained that when you classify all of the art and design and story stuff that we're doing as nothing, that can be a little disheartening. But also I tried to again point out the fact that, look, if a game like Days Gone, which you know, sold 10 million copies in a recent console cycle, is having trouble getting a sequel made, you can imagine that for us and the situation that we're in, it's also going to be quite difficult. And you know, I never want to kind of highlight the negative. I'm always hopeful that we're going to manage to get something done. But I do also point out that like work is being accomplished. We are producing art, we are producing story, we are going to finish and produce a design Bible. And I know that's not a game, but at the end of the day, it's not like nothing is getting done, right?
Yeah. So the people that just think we're just taking the money and buying yachts and caviar, it's no.
Well, I don't think that even the comments that I saw, I never really see people suggesting things like that, because I think most people are rational enough to like, okay, yeah, they can see that art is getting done. So I guess it would be another situation entirely if they looked at our project and then like nothing was coming out of it, right? But they can see that like every time we post an update, there's a huge blob of art contained in it. So, you know, clearly somebody's doing something. Should I jump out that hole?
Can you not walk through it when you're tiny?
You cannot, and I don't really want to.
Bad game design.
This looks like bad game design, because I mean, it does look like I should be able to jump out there, but I can't. And I have been led up this little road here to believe that like there was something good at the end of this rainbow, but in fact,
can you get over the no?
There's nothing at the end of that rainbow. So yeah, I don't really see a lot of people doing the whole like, you know, where's the money going? Because I think enough creative content gets pumped out that most people can look at that and be like, okay, well, that's where the money's going. But I think that the primary complaint is like, we don't care about, that is a comment I see quite often. We don't care about art. We just want the game. And I think like, well, you do understand that, you know, the work we're doing on the design and the story and that stuff, I mean, that's going to have to get done anyway, right? Like we can't not do that work in the end, because otherwise, if you don't have the design and the story, you can't build the product. So I think that a lot of it's just understandable impatience. And I've tried to point out also that like, hey, you know, there is a difference here between what normally happens in game development, where there could be 3 or 4 or 5 years of a team working in the shadows, in the background, silently on trying to get their design and their art and all this stuff done. And then only when the game is actually in development does the marketing department start putting money into making you aware of that. That's the typical way that these things go. Whereas what we're doing is we're inviting you to be a part of it from the, you know, in the section where normally you wouldn't see what was going on, right?
Yeah.
And my best advice for, oh, God damn it. Why? That's the, my best advice is go through that door. Next time.
If you can.
So my best advice for those people is just look away. If you're not interested in this how the sausage gets made, you know, part of the process, that's totally fine. And sorry, and we'll, check back in a little while. Hopefully there'll be some sort of big update that satisfies your bloodlust. So yeah, anyway, that's my recap of the Days Gone thing, plus the reactions we got from posting our year-end recap, which we'll go through today. Yeah, so.
All right. I mean, yep, I get you. I mean, we do put all this information out there. It is readily available, but we also can't expect everyone to understand the process.
Right.
So I think the comments are inevitable.
Comments are inevitable, that's for sure. Right? Surely you've got some comments over there that you wanna read. Speaking
Let's
of,
have
Martin.
a look. Well, Wendy J knew that you would fail on that previous bit.
Thanks, Wendy,
she's
for
psychic.
the faith you have in my abilities.
Really here's a big old comment from Fixunskiku. Something like that. I know that I'm just one amongst hundreds of thousands, but I was 12 years old when Alice first came out. Made such a huge impact on their life.
Oh my god, I'm
beyond ecstatic. It says something about EA.
Well, I'm glad to hear that. I'm glad that it had a positive impact on your life. I'm a little preoccupied at the moment here. The game has decided to throw quite a menagerie at me.
Murder them.
I'm really trying, but they're not making it easy, and I'm quickly running out of roses here. Let's go see if I can go open up some cakes over here.
Yeah, do that. We have a greeting from Buenos Aires.
Yay!
From Angel EKT. Thank you for that.
Do you think that's anywhere close to where we were looking at in Bolivia with the UV rating?
It's in that part of the world, isn't it?
That's all we know is silly.
Yeah, we were looking at the UV index for La Paz and just wondering about if people were getting microwaved there or not before the stream started.
It seems that there's always something bad going on with people being microwaved in the world. I'm about to die.
Don't die.
I really am. I'm about to die. I don't think I'm going to live through this. Please. I don't even want this. Let me... Please just let one of these monsters die so I can be finished here.
Coodle Scam is asking for an EU-friendly stream that we haven't done in a while.
Right.
Maybe.
Okay, I need those. Oh, they were just right there.
Jeez, Rick.
I was hoping that my health, but no, I didn't get the health.
Use the umbrella.
Yeah, thanks. I hadn't thought of that. I'm so thankful that you suggested that I use the umbrella. Here we go again into this. This feels a little bit like a boss level. I mean, it's ram-packed with enough nasties. I should have cleared this guy out before jumping in here. That was a dumb mistake. Anyway, he's dead now, so let's go kill this guy.
The Infinite Mint is super excited for this stream.
Why is that?
I don't know. Maybe they were expecting something.
Yeah. Well, I can tell you that nothing super special is going to come out of today's stream, other than a recap of the last year and me dying multiple times in this arena. But aside from that, not so much.
Did we have a great holiday season? Asks Rose Thigh. Did you?
So, we're in China. We're being discouraged from travel. So I'm not doing any sort of traveling. We stayed at home mostly for Christmas and New Year's. And I don't know. I mean, we had a lot of fun. I've got our boy here. Who's 1 year old, or I'm sorry, 2 years old. I don't know how old my child is. And this was his second Christmas. And it's fun. It's fun having a kid and playing Christmas music and Christmas trees. And so he knows how to say Christmas tree now in English and in Chinese. And he knows what presents are. Every kid knows what presents are. See, I made that look much easier that time around.
Yeah, you're giving away the secret that you actually can play.
Well, I have to pretend, as I said before, I have to pretend to be bad, but sometimes I pretend too hard, and then I just look like I really am bad. So,
look at that scary face.
What did you do for the holidays?
Not much. It doesn't never feels very Christmassy here, no matter what. I mean, they put up like decorations on the streets and lights
And
and
they play
stuff.
Christmas
They
music.
play Christmas
And
music.
our Baoans here dressed up as Santa Claus. That was really weird to see, like the Chinese security guards in our housing, complex that are driving around on little electric scooters. They're wearing Santa outfits. I don't know. It felt pretty Christmassy to
And
me.
you've got Christmassy bits, but it's not like the West where it's literally everywhere. It's every shop, it's
Right.
every street, it's every song on the radio, it's every advert on the TV. It doesn't feel like that here.
Right.
So I didn't really do anything for Christmas, but I did go out New Year's. That was fun. Went to a couple of bars for my gin and tonics, which was pretty good. Had some good
And
night
did you
out.
make any New Year's resolutions?
No.
No. Well, that's lame. How are you gonna break resolutions if you don't make them?
Not sure.
All right.
Not sure. I've tried in the past, I've had the old, lose weight and do this, do that, but yeah, they get broken like in a
Right.
week. Or maybe the fact that I don't have any this year just tells you that I'm just practically perfect the way I am.
Maybe that's all it is.
Maybe that's all
You
it
just
is.
can't get better than you already are. It's good. Well, you did lose a lot of weight in the last year, so it would be dumb for you to suggest that you're going to lose more because you'd probably die.
Maybe I should put the weight back on as
There
my
you
New
go.
Year's resolution.
There you go. Well, that's obviously going to be our first question for today. So get your answers ready for when prize time comes.
Something
I'll ask
about a
you-
New Year's
Ask
resolution.
you what's your New Year's resolution
I was
was.
thinking that.
Well, I've already said it out loud, so it's mine. You can't claim it. Yeah, I've resolved to study Chinese more, and basically I've resolved to make it so that every day I carve out an hour or so for either exercise, language study, playing music, some sort of improving hobby, I guess you could say. Things that are not just watching YouTube videos or, Netflix or something like that, but something that actually, uses the brain and requires some degree of skill and then can be improved upon over time. So that's my New Year's resolution.
All right.
Now,
I think patient 322222 is going to finish learning Japanese.
wow, finish it, because I mean, there's Japanese people who haven't finished learning Japanese.
And after that, you can Japanese learning Finnish.
Wow. Oh, there you
So,
go. That's a good one, Martin. I got that. I think that was very clever.
It was.
I'm surprised. I'm very surprised with you. Are you okay? You punned quite well just now.
That's a good one.
That was a good one.
Oh no, according to Paul on YouTube, China sucks.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, well, Paul, F off and stop watching this video, because we're coming from China. My wife is Chinese. My child is half Chinese. We've been living here in China for quite a long time, and I'm pretty certain you don't know what the hell you're talking about. So
Be interesting
see you later.
to hear if he's ever been. Or it's just kind of
I'm
what
pretty
you've
sure,
seen on the news.
Pretty sure that he's never been.
But not recently anyway. Not in the
Uh,
last 2 years.
It's always surprising me that people on my Twitter or other places are following me, know that I live in China, and decide that they're going to come and educate me about what life in China is. To be honest with you, I think that's another one of my New Year's resolutions, is that I'm not really willing to put up with people being dicks about that stuff anymore. So I don't know.
So don't.
Get bent. Yeah, the level of anti-China propaganda that's been thrown at Westerners over the last, especially 1-2 years, is off the charts, and the effects of that are becoming more and more. What the hell? What was that?
Your you're supposed to get off the platform faster than that.
But I'm still alive.
You're still on the
Look at
platform.
that. No, that was about him. He flew up to some crazy dizzying height and dragged my camera along with him. And look, he
No,
left.
your platform lowered.
Yeah, but he also was something I was locked onto, so it dragged my camera into a weird place.
Bug.
Well, it's not. I mean, not a bug, but yeah. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, you know, we generally try to avoid talking about that topic in depth on this live stream, because I think that it's almost impossible to compete with the paid propaganda that's being spewed out into the world. And so, you know, if you want to believe lies about a country that you've never visited and that you only know from things that you're hearing, you know, people say online, and look, I'm here, you know, I'm saying stuff online to you about China. But, you know, Martin and I can tell you we've been living here for, you know, I've been here for nearly 15 years. You know, whatever is going on right now, the anti-China propaganda push, it is, I'm telling you, it's nonsensical and has nothing to do with the realities of the people or the country. So yeah. Anyway, let's not.
It's a heavy subject.
It is a heavy, and it's really got me. It's really just got me very disappointed. Because I think that these platforms like Twitter and YouTube, they have a moral responsibility. I don't know, a moral responsibility to moderate this type of stuff, and they're not doing it, which makes me think that that they see some benefit in it. So anyway,
what else is going on? Yeah, apparently your resolution should be to finish this Let's Play.
I think we can do that. I'm pretty sure that unless I die, this playthrough of Madness Returns will be finished this year. I suppose
Are you sure
somebody...
you want to actually say that on the record?
No, I suppose somebody could do the math on that, though. You could look at the number of hours that...
On your save file, it says that you're 56% of the way through the game.
Well, I mean, we're only playing a half hour at a time.
Isn't like the speed run record like 45 minutes or something?
Something like that. So maybe we're not going to get through it that fast. Where do you reckon I ought to jump to next? I kind of feel like that's where we came in.
Look, that hole really has been smashed.
I really shouldn't jump down there. Now, I flipped this lever. I did not see what the result was. I'm guessing it has to do with this slide, though.
Go through that.
Yeah, no, I see what it did. It popped a mushroom out of the ground over there. So we need to... There we go. There we go. Slice a cake as a reward. Now, I don't know if everybody out there noticed, I did tweet. There's good stuff that comes out of Twitter and YouTube, though. There was Ragnarok Plays. Is that what he's called? Ragnarok?
Somebody just said that in the chat.
Yeah, so there is a YouTuber who did a Let's Play / well, it's not really a Let's Play. I take that back. He did an analysis review of the original Alice game. And it's titled A Love Letter to American McGee's Alice. And what's special about it, in my view, is that he does a fairly deep dive into the themes of the story, and the kind of motivations of the main character and the motivation of just the game in general. I'm done. It's a half hour in. I don't want to play this dumb puzzle.
Play it.
I don't want to play it. So anyway, if you have not seen that, I highly recommend. It's not even working anyway. Where's the controls for it? I do highly recommend you go and find that. I tweeted it, so if you go to my Twitter, you can find it, or somebody I'm sure can paste it into the chat. It's Ragnarok.
So is it Ragnarok's Rocks? Ragnarok?
Some Ragnarok Rock? I'm sorry, guy.
Ragnarok
I don't know the name of your thing. We'll go bring it up on Twitter in a minute here. Anyway, it was an excellent. It's probably like a 35 or 40 minute long video where he goes into some detailed analysis of the game and its themes and its story and its characters, and I highly recommend it. So if you've got a few minutes and you're a fan of the Alice games, go and check that out.
You gotta find the pieces for that puzzle.
Oh, I gotta go run around in that. Yeah, see, we don't have time for that.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
We don't have time for that. If we go to here, and then I think we got to go to like my profile, and we scroll back, you will find the... I always find it funny that Twitter suggests that I follow the NSA. Why? Why do I want to follow the NSA?
There it is.
Where?
Is that what you're looking for?
No, I'm looking for the link to this guy's analysis of American McGee's Alice. It's here. It's this guy. There's the link. There's not a picture attached to that. That kind of sucks. So if we wait for this to come up, and then you guys will be able to know.
VPN.
I tell you, the VPN is very unhappy these days. Okay,
Touch
so
words.
this is it. A Love Letter to American McGee's Alice, and it's by
Ragnar
Rocks. Okay, sorry, Ragnar Rocks. We really messed that up. So if you are interested, it is a 37-minute long. And look, it's got 0 dislikes. Everybody likes it.
That's true. I installed the dislike bar. That's an actual truth.
Oh, well, should I just click on it for fun?
Don't do it.
To be the only one who has a dislike on it? That'd be kind of hilarious. That would just, no, let's not do that. Okay, it is time for giving away prizes. As we mentioned at the start of the stream, we're going to give away your choice of 3 new, as yet unreleased Plushie Dreadfuls. Because they have not been released yet, please allow a little bit of extra time for them to be delivered to you in the mail. They have to arrive with us first, obviously, before we can ship them out to you, and they don't arrive with us until like 2 weeks or a week from now. So please be a little patient. And so what was the question? You're going to need to answer the question in the chat. That way the Nightbot can see you.
Sorry, people. This is just for Twitch.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry, YouTubers. Nightbot won't do both at the same time.
There you go.
So you should watch us on Twitch anyway.
You should.
What was it? Oh yeah, what's your New Year's resolution?
What is your New Year's resolution? Let us
say
know
something
that
in the chat.
in the
Nightbot
chat.
will detect it, and then you will be eligible when we roll the dice.
There we go.
Is how it works.
That is how it works. And then you will be able to choose your choice of, which is what happens when you choose, a PTSD bunny, a Bun in the Bun bunny, or a sleep paralysis bunny. Which of those is your favorite, Martin?
Maybe the PTSD one. Kind of like that guy.
I like PTSD bunny. I find that Bun in the Bun is funny though, because when I was taking these pictures for the marketing, I did stuff that made it look like the little baby rabbits are called kits. Right. Anyway, I posed them like chest bursters, so they're kind of popping out of the mama bun, and I thought that was hilarious.
Is that actually what baby rabbits are called? Kits?
They're called kits. Oh. Kits, like Knight Rider.
Kitt.
Close enough. So these are little Knight Riders that pop out of the rabbit, and
just reminded. I've been watching like some Rick and Morty at night before sleeping, and that's quite funny. It's like, why was it called Knight Rider? Nobody rode Michael Knight.
This is true. This is very true.
It should be Kit Rider or something.
Wendy says she doesn't want to make a resolution this year.
That could be her resolution.
Yeah,
to not make resolutions.
There you go. Who else made a resolution? It's weird. I'm looking at the chat here, but it's not as... Women Wonder says, I didn't make any. I have the same general goals as 2021. Finished School says Immateria. I don't usually make a New Year's resolution, but just hope to be a better person this year than I was last year. Bit by bit says Octo Chicken. Greg, that kind of suggests that you're not a good person. And you're trying to work on that.
Somebody's upping their electronic repairing game. I scrolled past.
I like that. That's a very cool one.
You do like to tinker, don't you?
Do. Patient 322 wants to move out of mom's house, and DW1398 says reading more books. I like the learn Java programming from Miss Crimson Mischief.
Try and be more grateful for things, says Vampire Chick 007.
I like that one a lot, and I think we are going to end this and roll on that. That is an excellent resolution that we should all partake in, is to be more grateful.
For things.
All right, 3, 2, 1. It is Kizu the Owl. So congratulations to you, Kizu the Owl. You need to do the thing, which means you should write an email to support@mysterious.design. You should state that you've won, include your name, your address, your phone number, do all of that in a human readable format that does not cause us to have aneurysms or burst into rage. Do that within 24 hours, and you'll also want to include in there your selection.
Yes.
Do you want PTSD bunny, do you want Preggers bunny, or do you want sleep paralysis bunny? There you go.
There you go. It really is that simple.
I feel like we're I kind of feel like we should be stepping up like our online our live streamed salesmanship game. Just like
People
in a
don't
joking.
like the really professional ones now. I
I
mean,
just think it's funny.
if you watch like any channel, I guess, when they do a sponsorship thing, they're always kind of like on the down low now.
Yeah,
They're
I
not very
know.
professional. People are like laughing and joking and
I
shit.
know. So speaking of, I have to bring this up because it did make me laugh, and it's kind of on topic about the anti-China stuff. So there's a YouTuber that's fairly, well, that is just purely anti-China now. Somebody who used to live in China, and while he lived here, he was hugely pro-China. And then when he decided to leave, he concocted this story about being chased out by the military and stuff like that. So now he makes a living doing anti-China YouTube videos. Well, anyway, there was a video he did recently. I didn't watch the whole video, but someone clipped out this segment where he was talking about the Chinese fishing vessels and how they're doing evil stuff and whatever. And he mentioned that they were going and like tearing up the reefs and getting all the fish out of the Galapagos, which I don't know if that's true or not, but he did this amazing, just smooth as silk transition between mentioning the Galapagos Islands and these illegal Chinese fishing fleets, and then an advertisement for the mobile game like Bass Fishing Pro or something. And he was like, so if you want to fish in the Galapagos without, destroying the environment, play Bassmaster. And it was like, as much as I don't like what he does, and as much of a jerk as I think he is for doing it, I could not help but laugh out loud at how
Sounds pretty
absolutely
good.
smooth he was in this transition between this serious topic and the game. Anyway, it made me laugh.
It's got a good segue game.
It was very, very funny. All right, here we go. We're going to do art review. This is art for Alice Asylum, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
Now, in the time since the last time we had a live stream, there has been quite a bit of art produced. We're not going to look at absolutely everything today, but we'll have a look at a high level, fair amount of it. So there is a section of the game in which Alice will confront the carpenter and the walrus. And is it? No. Okay. So this is the design kind of inspiration that's being done for the walrus in that section of the game. I think there is a carpenter version of this. Where is it? I mean, I'm sorry, there's a walrus version of this. So I think this is the relatively final version. It's kind of colored.
Mm-hmm.
The notion...
Pretty good.
Yeah, this turned out really cool. The notion here is that Alice stumbles upon the carpenter. He's in a section of London that is... Oh, by the way, spoilers!
Spoilers, Venom's in the game.
I mean, there's spoilers, but it's not like we're giving away some super critical element that you're, later going to be playing the game and be like, "Ooh, Morpheus dies at the end." It's not that.
What?
So this is the carpenter. You're going to meet him in a section of London that is kind of alternately flooding, underwater, and on fire. Because it's like you do.
Like you do.
And then he's going to try to enlist her to help him to fight back against the chaos, but ultimately he fails. That's the spoiler.
All right.
Look, by the time the game actually comes out, you will have completely forgotten this live stream and the fact that we talked about this. You won't remember. It doesn't matter. So anyway, this is the design for the carpenter post-chaos infection. We have previously shown off what he looks like prior to the chaos infection. It looks pretty cool. And this is the walrus after the chaos takes over for him as well.
Look at it go.
Yeah. Somebody says, so, a Venom cameo.
Yeah.
We were talking about that new Venom movie, and man, I hated that. I didn't even finish watching it.
I didn't hate it, but it was very meh.
I felt it was worse than that. Much, much, much worse than that. So yeah, these illustrations for the walrus and the carpenter, this is a fairly large boss fight within the game. I know a lot of people talked about for Madness Returns the disappointing lack of boss fights, and we even had a kind of like boss fight fake out that pissed some people off. We will not be doing that this time around.
Or will we?
That would be funny if like every boss fight in the game was a fake out. No, there are going to be some pretty cool boss fights. Now this is a new piece of art, obviously around the topic of a boss fight with...
I have not seen this piece of art before.
No one has seen this piece of art before. That's why you
Not
come
even
here.
the person who drew it.
Yeah, he drew it. Omri drew this piece blind. This is actually a collaboration, as is often the case with these really big kind of boss set pieces. This is a collaboration between Omri and Norm. So I mentioned before that Norm's normal full-time his normal full-time job is that he's working on Marvel's what's it called?
What If?
What If? So he works on Marvel's What If as an artist, as an illustrator, and then we're lucky to get him kind of part-time working on Asylum. Now, of course, he was the original inventor of the look and feel of the Alice that you all know, of the Mad Hatter, of a lot of the characters from the original game. So it's great to have him still on board and helping out with this stuff in between doing all the stuff that he does for Marvel. So yeah, this is one of his kind of fortes, though, is these big action scenes. And then Omri will come in here and he paints them and colorizes them in a variety of different styles. And this is awesome.
Those are some of the best pictures that we've got, the collabs. So yeah, some good stuff.
So Zagon Lord says, is that supposed to be the Red Queen before the Red Queen? We always get this question about the Red Queen. I don't know why people are so obsessed with the Red Queen. This is not the Red Queen. The Red Queen doesn't really figure into the Alice games. This is the Queen of Hearts, and you can tell that because she's got like freaking giant heart scepter. She's got a little heart on top of her head, and her little whatsies are shaped like hearts, and I don't know, she's got a little heart on her belt there. She's pretty all hearted up. Anyway, this is the second appearance that she makes in the game as a boss fight. You will fight her twice. She and her initial fight that you play through play a pretty significant role in Alice's realization of the sort of manufactured nature of the reality that she's living in.
Mm-hmm.
That's my attempt to state what is going on without too much spoiler stuff. But yeah, as this adventure rolls on, Alice begins to realize that she and the wonderland that she occupies is not what it seems, that it's a manufactured reality, and that the characters that she's interacting with are maybe not the ones that she's normally used to interacting with.
All right. Neon Wave asks, is that an eye in her mouth? Nope, it's a cog.
So no, so that's part of the point here. That is a gear. The idea is that a lot of the characters that Alice will encounter early on in the game are what we call manipulators. We do have art for those that was presented ages ago. We could go back and pull some up. But manipulators are an invention of the Hatter. They basically are like, what would you call them? Automatons? Clones?
Yes. But they like mimics.
Right.
But mechanical mimics.
There you
perhaps.
go. Mimics. Yeah, so this is a mimic. This is a giant robotic Queen of Hearts. Not the real deal. And you can see that this one is also infected by chaos and tentacles.
Ooh.
She's a bit of a mess.
A little bit. Doesn't look like there's much room there for Alice to be jumping around and fighting.
That's going to be a tough boss battle, isn't it? Tentacles and queens.
Hope so.
I hope so. This is an illustration storyboard that was done by Gareth. He's one of the newer additions we made to our art team. And Gareth plus Omri have been working together. Again, Gareth has been doing the line work of these storyboards, and then
He's got some very clean lines.
it's beautiful.
Mm.
So he's been doing that, and then Omri's coming in and helping out with coloring and painting and stuff like that. So this is a scene where Alice, after the first encounter with the Queen of Hearts, has befriended this character we refer to as the Knave, of course mentioned in the books as well. In our version of this, the Knave is played by an insane child, and they have a kind of funny relationship. Like, you're not sure, and you're not supposed to be sure if the Knave is sort of on your side or not, or if you can trust the Knave or not. But spoiler alert, after you finally discovered that he is going to help you and that he does help you, then he's saying, like, farewell and be safe on your journey, and then Shadow Alice appears from behind and tears them up.
Bloody Shadow Alice.
Yeah, she's always chopping up Alice's friends. So what's going on here, just as an example, is that these types of storyboard scenes are going to be created for sections of the narrative where it's helpful to kind of see the flow of the action, or maybe suggest what we would see, what the camera would see in these scenes. So Gareth is working on a handful of these at critical kind of narrative junctions throughout the story. So you should expect to see more of this kind of stuff coming out.
Hope so.
Over the next couple of months.
Hope so.
Head in a vice, but gravity center.
What?
I'm not sure what that means. Yeah, don't know.
Huh, okay. Yeah, somebody asked the general question. I don't know how it was phrased. Like, is there a plan for how many Alice games? But Nicholas Brokaw suggests this would be the final tie up everything in a neat little bow game.
Well, for everyone who's read the narrative outline, which you can go over to Patreon and you can grab the whole PDF of the entire narrative outline for this game. For everyone who's read it, you'll know that this story, the Asylum story, does neatly encapsulate and finish off, the story that began in American McGee's Alice. It picks up where Madness Returns left off, and then it closes out. All of the kind of threads and the loops and everything is finished as far as the three stories will be concerned. Like, you could be done at the end of that. But if you've read the narrative outline, you will also know that we've opened the door to a new kind of adventure at the end. And it's something that we kind of hinted at previously when we talked about the notion of other lands. So I don't want to go too far into that because that really does become spoilery. So if you're interested in, whether or not this really could be the end of the adventures that Alice is having, I'll say this for sure. The story we created wraps up this story, and this story is the story of the fire and the death of her family, and sort of the origin of the fire, and who done it, and Alice's emotions, her guilt, and everything else in response to that event. All of that stuff gets resolved by the end of Asylum. But again, at the end of Asylum, we do open a new door to a new chapter and new adventures, but they no longer revolve around this. Those people out there who are like, can't Alice just have a happily ever after? At the end of Asylum, the story is resolved. So,
and then after it's resolved, there's going to be a 20-year gap, and you're going to come back and make Alice 4.
Yeah. There you go. Well, I did see a very funny comment on YouTube this morning when we were setting everything up. Somebody wrote, every 10 years American McGee gets bored and makes a new Alice game.
Behind schedule.
I know. I know. So this is an image that comes from the very start of Asylum. It's one of the very first things you see as you're moving through the first kind of sequence and first minutes of the game, is young Alice coming face to face with her family in the fire that kills them. This particular scene and the cake that you see on the table there, these things will come back again later on in the game.
Good.
They play symbolically a fairly important role of sort of bookending part of the journey, and the cake that you see here, in a funny way, plays a fairly significant role. Because at some point Alice must eat this. The notion of like eat me, drink me is one that's very much known to be a part of the Alice in Wonderland lore. But this notion that when we take a medicine, the placebo effect of that medicine is often increased the worse the medicine tastes, or the idea that, like, if you look at folk medicines, a lot of times those folk medicines involved kind of gross rituals, disgusting rituals. Well, the more disgusting the thing was, the better it worked, basically. Because if you were willing to get to the place psychologically where you would eat the tentacle cake, then perhaps you were ready to kind of make the transformations necessary to heal yourself, right?
Right.
So this scene plays fairly large in the game. This is a bookending scene. That means that you'll see it early in the game and you'll see it late in the game.
I'm just thinking, there are those like bakeries out there who do like those super perfect, realistic looking cakes in any shape and size.
We could have them do that.
Yeah, do that. Do that cake.
Cool. Yeah.
I
like it.
But yeah, I think it was Patient322 or someone, I think, asks, why are the faces melting but the rabbit masks intact? With a very interesting spelling of the word intact.
Well, look, the original version of this image, it was just the faces melting, or it was just the faces. I asked that the rabbit masks be put on there because there's significant symbology. First of all, in the Alice lore about Follow the White Rabbit. Secondly, about just rabbits in sort of like native culture and the meaning of rabbits, and there's a certain magic around them, and so the idea that we include that signal in this scene was important to me. One of the things that I'm always trying to do when we're telling these stories is to layer in as much as possible subconsciously. It's one of the reasons why you could have somebody like, how do I say it again? Ragnarok's. Okay, why he would be able to do a 40-minute dissertation on all of the meaning contained within a game that we made 20 years ago is because I went and layered in all of this subliminal nonsense related to her journey. I mean, I say nonsense, I don't mean that it's nonsense. I do sit down and study that stuff, and I think about it, and I think about what is the meaning and what people take away from it. And also it's about subliminal programming. Like when you play the game and you see that, I want your brain to be like, what the fuck? And then I want your brain to hold on to that until some later point in the game where it's paid off and your brain even subconsciously goes, I'm released from the question of what the fuck, right? And that is where catharsis comes from, when you see, one side of a bookend and then you see the other. So speaking of, early in the game, we're gonna witness this scene.
Neo.
It is. It's the Matrix. So we will witness this scene quite early in the game, and it's an important scene. It takes place in a half memory, half imagining that Alice has related to the death of her family. And again, this is all about layering in subliminal messaging, right? The fire that burned down her murdered her family, and then her is this sort of like damaged saint, sort of Jesus figure. And then the shadow and the following of the white rabbit, and this is the crying tear statue. All of these things play into her hero's journey, right?
Yeah.
And what I would like is that when people are playing the game, they will go through this scene. This is a scene where she half remembers and half imagines what it was, the fire that killed her family, the funeral that follows, and then that scene ends on this, which is this sort of like, fictional reimagining of her own christening. So this is Alice at the christening, right? So when and there's tentacles.
And a cat.
That's the stupid cat that burned down the house. So, the whole notion of a christening is that it's meant to be an analog to the journey of Christ. So there's, you're alive and then you die and then you come back again. So the dipping into the water is death. And then when you're pulled back out, it is a rebirth. Now, in the Christian tradition, it's a rebirth in Christ. But for the sake of our game, the rebirth is about the transformation that she undergoes on this journey. So we have this as one end of that, and all of the symbology that you could imagine being packed into a scene like that, right? On the other end of that is her being, and by the way, you don't see her pulled out of the water. That scene ends suddenly on her being dunked into the water, right? So you see the child put into the water and then the screen goes black.
You're not going to see the child under the water with bubbles coming out of its nose and stuff.
Yeah, we maybe, you know, like the Nirvana album, and then later on the digital actor that we hired to do that could come back and sue us. That sounds like a great idea.
Did that happen?
Yeah, the Nirvana underwater baby sued Nirvana for using him as a naked baby without his permission.
Did he lose?
I don't know. Somebody asks, why is Keanu Reeves there? And more importantly, why is he making the shape of a gun with his fingers?
It's not Neo. It's John Wick.
BJ Grimm says that case was dismissed yesterday. Thank you, BJ, for helping us with that. So here we go. The christening scene. Yes. So the baby will be seen to be dunked into the pool. The screen will go to black.
The next thing we know.
Well, then you'll play the game for many, many, many hours. If it's us doing a playthrough, it'll take several years. And when we come out the other side, there's a moment where, as I mentioned before, Alice, you know, has this growing awareness of the fact that the reality in which she exists throughout the majority of the game is manufactured. It's not real. Well, there is going to be the rebirth moment where she will be basically pulled out of the christening pool. And this is that moment.
It's a nice little workshop.
It's beautiful.
I like it.
So this is Gareth working together with Omri. And
another collab. That's why it's so great.
It's wonderful. So this is the moment at which the snow globe reality that she was existing inside of is broken, and then she emerges into real Wonderland. So the inner child finally emerges into the main psyche of adult Alice and gets to continue the reintegration. She basically gets to resolve this journey. But in order to do that, she had to escape from the sort of fictional reality that she was living in. And so that's what this scene is.
And have a lovely cup of tea.
Yeah, a cup of tea.
That makes everything better. If you're British, a cup of tea fixes everything.
Well, that's the whole point of this game. You drink that cup of tea and it's like game over.
Yep, you drank the tea.
That's
There you go. Platinum trophy. Well done.
Now, I love this image. I feel like I've talked to the guys about this before. There needs to be a clearer indication of the broken snow globe on the ground. But for right now, the main thing is that there's a visual symmetry between this towards the end of the game and the scene we were looking at before of the baptism. The elements contained within, you know, this guy is supposed to kind of echo across the game a semblance, a resemblance to the Mad Hatter, and he's placed on the opposite side of the frame. You know, so in the one he's on the right, and on this one he's on the left. The reason we're doing that is because she's passed through the looking glass. The baptism scene is sort of the murky reflection of this emergence scene. So yeah, there's going to be some pretty cool symbology and symbolism and fun stuff going on.
Octo Chicken says that Alice in this picture has a very interesting expression. It is good. This is actually a really good sort of like young Alice face. I mean, it doesn't really look like old Alice, but actually if you were making a new character from scratch, I think this looks pretty good.
Yeah, you know, Gareth has brought a new, I guess you could say, interpretation of the character's face to a lot of the renderings that he's doing. Yeah. We've had a little bit of conversation about it. I've mentioned it, and I've suggested that we want to be careful to remain sort of consistent. But each artist brings a slightly different style to these images, right? Joey's got one way that she does it, and Omri's got another. Omri's always super glamorous, right? I mean, she always looks much, much older in Omri's renderings of her.
She's spent like 7 hours in makeup.
Exactly. But I think it's fine. I mean, each one of them has its merits, and each one of them is fairly cool. This is one that Omri did. This was the art print that went out last month, I think.
Yes, this was the latest print.
Yeah. All right. Anyway, so moving on from Alice faces and all that kind of good stuff.
Look at the time.
Yeah. Well, we gotta hurry up.
Yeah.
Quickly. So this image, I really loved this. This kicked off a lot of thoughts in my head about the cinematic direction that we could take. I mean, like the technical implementation of conveying the recovering events that have happened to the adult, which the inner child does not have awareness of, right?
Right.
So I think we wrote something about this, that remembering, learning is remembering, basically, that everything that we learn we already knew, but we have to remember it, kind of thing. And so she's doing a lot of this learning is remembering stuff, where the child is seeing the adult go through the events of her life leading up to the pushing of Bumby and under the train and beyond.
Yeah.
So this scene does something really cool, and I don't know how much Joey really thought about how this could impact what it is that we're doing inside of the game, but this does this thing where we're going to have the background of the London and the adult Alice playing out some action. In this case, she's going into Radcliffe's office, and we, the audience, are watching over the shoulder of the child as she witnesses the adult, and there with the caterpillar. And I really love this.
Redcliffe?
Radcliffe. She misspelled it. Don't be. I was just all excited about everything, and you're gonna call out a spelling mistake.
I am
Jesus,
font lord.
Get out of here.
I am font lord.
You're no fun. You are. I bet you're the one. You're probably setting up like puppet accounts, and you're the one griefing me online.
God damn it! I'm being rumbled.
I knew it was you. All of this time, it was the font lord making trouble for me. So anyway, I like this image. It's beautiful artistically. This is an actual scene from the game wherein child Alice witnesses the actions of adult Alice, wherein adult Alice discovers some dark and horrible secrets in Radcliffe's office, not Redcliffe's office. But that'd be funny if little font lord come running down the street and like, nope, and fix that, and it ran off.
Can of paint.
But for me, again, the more important thing that came out of this was a visualization of a way in which we, the player, can witness through the eyes of the child the things that she learns about the life of the adult.
Yeah.
There you go.
Here's a question I think most people watching know, but Cooper941 asks, do we get to play as adult Alice, or is it primarily young Alice?
You are playing almost exclusively, well, you're playing almost exclusively as child Alice. There will be a moment where your perspective shifts, and you'll get to drive Shadow Alice for a bit, which, by the way, if you played the first and second Alice game, you were playing Shadow Alice. So
you just didn't know.
Yes, you've been soaking in it all along. Soaking in darkness. So yeah, you will be playing in this game, predominantly playing the child through her whole journey and transformation. And then somewhere towards the end of the game, you'll get to pick up the shadow once again and do some shadowy things. And then there you go.
All right.
And then you reemerge or recombine with your adult self. All
spoilers.
All healthy and happy. And yes. But before that...
Are we going to do a giveaway, or are we just going to plow through art?
Look, I think we're pretty close to being done with the art, and then we can do a giveaway. I know that it bothers your OCD.
It does.
But it's just too...
should be on the hour.
Okay. All right.
I mean, I don't really have a great question.
You better have a really, really effing good question if you're gonna make us stop and do the giveaway. So we're gonna give away a rabbit now because Martin can't let
it lie.
No, because he's spastic like that.
But I am gonna press this for the next one.
Oh, jeez.
Okay. What's your in one sentence? What's your Matrix 4 review?
For me,
and them.
What is your... So that's the question. One sentence Matrix 4 review.
And if you haven't seen it, make something up what you think it's like.
My one sentence Matrix 4 review.
I'll say, not as bad as you thought it was going to be. With a shrug emoji at the end.
Mine will be, the spoon is no good.
The spoon is no good.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm trying to be meta. I'm trying to,
Was Kid in the movie? I can't remember.
No.
Did they not put him back in?
No.
I thought he might have cameoed.
I don't know.
Remember.
I thought it was crap, to be honest. So
Unnecessary, but totally watchable.
I like that. Peace Love AV's got that right. It was unnecessary. It is watchable. I just don't know.
Not as good as the original, clearly.
All of the meta stuff that was going on in there, and I guess we can't do spoilers, but there was so much meta stuff going on where
too meta.
it just kept pulling me out of the movie.
Yeah.
Right. It just kept pulling me out of the movie. And, when the movie makes reference to the fact that there is a business entity called Warner Brothers that is related and connected to the Matrix franchise, like that's in the movie. Like at some point, one of the characters in the movie is like the Matrix, Warner Brothers, and you're just like, oh no. Yeah.
Octo Chicken said, it's amazing that nobody ever made a sequel to that movie, The Matrix, in 1999.
Exactly.
My friend said, it makes the original sequels look good. And, they had their problems, but at least they felt like it was the same universe, the same movies, the same stuff, the same characters. It felt connected.
Yeah.
This, it's...
Okay.
It's shrug emoji again. It's okay.
And I like this from Celestia Cafe 7. It says, I didn't finish it, but I know my dad was excited. This
Make a
is
good
true.
quote
They
for the
are
back of
old.
the box.
They're old movies. The first movie came out back when the first Alice came out. So I mean, that's a lot of people weren't into them or weren't even alive to be into them when they first came out. Okay.
There's a lot of Russian going on YouTube.
I see that. All right, let's do a little bit of a roll here.
Hope they're not being rude.
Yeah, they probably are. 3, 2, 1. It is Zat Shi.
Zachi.
Congratulations, Zat Shi. You have won yourself a choice of Plushie Dreadfuls. You can choose... Where's the thing? You can choose a PTSD bunny, a Bun in the Bun bunny, or a sleep paralysis bunny. And all you need to do is send an email to support@mysterious.design. Include your name, your phone number, your mailing address. Do all that in a human-readable, non-frustration-inducing format. Do that within 24 hours. And then we will get a thing sent out to you ASAP. I don't even know if Zat Shi is a real thing.
Zat Shi!
Not responding. Okay.
Zat Shi, we're talking to you.
Yeah. And yeah, for those Russians going all Russian in the comments there, I hope you guys are...
Yeah, Sidex in Russian says, kak pas, Noah Hutman Ero Nukomten Oskputnyim Obnum.
Oh boy, Martin.
That's what it says right there.
All right, so back to art review. Then we're going to do the year-end recap fun stuff. So yeah, this was an image that was done by Adam. This is meant to be a part of a scene where young Alice, first acquires her hysteria mechanic. So it is triggered by the memories of all the abuse that she suffers in the asylum. Now, if you've been following along over on Patreon, you'll know that there were some images that started off as sort of the genesis of this that were pretty dark. And I even mentioned that some of the images that came before that I didn't even want to show because they made me really uncomfortable. But you've basically got, the orderlies, which are kind of these analogs to Tweedledee and Tweedledum in Wonderland. They are torturing Alice by, withholding her rabbit and, sort of threatening to beat her. And you've got the guy with the billy club here. That's not good. And sort of tying her to a chair. So it's all of this, punishment and madness in the asylum that eventually lead to the break where she essentially unlocks hysteria mode. So Adam did these. There came out there are 2 variations on it. I don't know which one is my favorite. I like them both quite a lot. So this was the first one that he did with a sort of, mirrors surrounding her and the mirrors containing various elements of horror.
That leech.
There is a leech. He's quite detailed.
Clearly a photo manip going on there.
As my son would say. So yeah, she's not too happy here in these memories. These turned out great though. And I did write a fairly kind of heartfelt post over on Patreon about some of this stuff. So if you're interested in those posts are free to read after a 3-day early bird period for our insane children.
Ooh, amazing fucking Nami Says they got their Hysteria Bunny today.
Woo!
It's nice to hear that stuff is getting through the postal service and system.
That's great. Glad to hear it.
Yeah.
So, this is the second image in that series. I think Adam decided that he would just try 2 ways of doing the rendering. And so this one is, obviously, she's looking into just a single, mirror frame and then seeing the various elements of horror kind of arrayed around her there. So, same notion, but just a different way of presenting it. Which one of these do you like better?
Maybe this one. Yeah, just about. I think this one.
This one's pretty cool. Now, if you were going to go and try to get a tattoo, you'd probably choose this one because it's kind of more compact form. But it's okay.
Sure, yeah.
That's pretty cool. What else have we got? This was the art print from, I guess, last month or something like that.
Yes, December patrons who were charged in January.
Okay.
These will be going out probably next week.
Now, I put this in here to remind me that we should mention the art print selection thing.
All right.
So I think that we might be at the end of art review. There are a few more pieces in here. I posted this up. This was like I wrote little 2021 in there. This is another section of the boss fight with the queen. This is one as well. These will get colored, so I'm not trying to like gloss over these. I just don't want to forget that we're supposed to talk about art prints. So this is looking pretty cool. Again, this is Norm, and then I'm sure he'll tighten this up, and then Omri will come in there and paint it as well, and we'll get another awesome looking image like that. See, this ought to be a poster.
Well, we've done a few of these ones, haven't we?
They're really
that
good.
have got that sort of border around.
And I plopped this one in there because this was one of my favorites. And I felt like, there's a series of those that could be a poster. This could be this needs to be a poster, but it needs to be a two set poster.
Right.
And I plopped this one in here because this is her meeting with Bill. I thought that would make a really good poster. We've got a lot of great art. So in this whole art problem, I was also going to mention to you, okay, I think we're ready. We're going to switch topics now. I'm going to open up this other folder. So one of the things that Martin emailed me the other day was he was reminding me that it's the start of a new year, which I didn't know. It's 2022. And one of the things that we do over on Patreon is that we mail out every month art prints to our patrons that are at certain levels. And so that means that we need to have a kind of schedule for the upcoming art prints that we're going to mail out. That means you get like a physical... Is there an easy one for you to grab over there? Not really. You get a physical, big format, signed, autographed art print in the mail. And so we need to choose... There you go. There's an example.
Look at the size of that.
Look at the size of that. That's amazing. So we need to make a list and choose some of the art prints that are going to come in the mail to our patrons. So that's the topic of this conversation. We're not going to choose them on the live stream today, but I am going to say if you're a patron, keep your eyes peeled for the post in which we're going to plop up a bunch of images like the ones that you see on your screen right now. And we're going to ask, are we going to do like polling, or is it just going to be in the comments type of thing?
It'll be a poll. We did that the last couple of times. It seems to work. So, yes.
Right.
Although Patreon's poll is a bit weird. So I think we ask for people's top 3 or something. But we need people to be honest about it because we can't limit it ourselves.
Right.
So, it'll be going up soon.
I've got this problem that we do have a lot of great art prints. A lot of times I think we should be sending out 2 every month. I'm not sure I don't know. We can talk about that. But for sure, there will be some months in the coming year, as there were in the previous year, where it's a double art print month. And especially when it comes to art prints that are meant to go together, like the book ending of the baptism scene, things like that. So anyway, we'll post this up over on Patreon. If you're a patron, then go into the comments there or do the poll or whatever it is and help us to select the schedule of art prints for 2022.
Please do. I'm sure it'll be most of these that you just saw on screen, but we'll probably put some others there as well. So have a look.
Okay. I'm going to move on to the recap. Is that right? We're going to do the recap today.
Yes.
Okay. So next up, speaking of Patreon, for those of you who don't know, we use Patreon to power all the stuff that's being done here. The money that comes from Patreon goes to pay for the team of artists and producers and designers who work on Alice Asylum pre-production. That money does not, by the way, pay myself or Martin or anyone else. It goes to the artists and Alex and a few others who are just mainly related to Alice Asylum pre-production. So if you want to support all of the art that you see getting done here, all the design work, everything that we're doing, please go over and become a patron. Now, I did post up this a couple days ago. This is free and open for everybody to view. So if you're interested in any of the content that's contained in here, just go over to Patreon and look for this 2021 recap and 2022 planning.
All right.
So
we're going to do this now.
We're going to just jump through this quickly. Yes. Of course, at the top of this was a big thank you. So I just want to say that personally and get it out there. Thank you very, very, very much to our insane children. We literally can't be doing this without you. Your support makes possible that team. We've got Omri and Gareth and Joey and Adam and Alex and Norm and
Jen?
Jen not really paid by Patreon. So I guess it's those 6. And then on or off, we like last year hired a 3D artist to do a 3D model of Alice and stuff like that. So there's other things that it goes towards. So, but that team is what you're supporting. And so on behalf of them and on behalf of myself, thank you very much for making that team possible. We wouldn't be here if it weren't for you. Now, I mentioned in the top of this that there's biz dev conversations going on. There are some interesting things happening. I was hoping we were going to announce something before the end of the year.
Yeah.
But there was a little bit of a slowdown in the process on the deal that I was told was done. It turned out it wasn't exactly done, but it's almost done. So we're going to announce that very soon. But it is the case that we're seeing these efforts pay off. So there will be more news about the payoffs to come. And I'm hoping that those payoffs will make everybody who's been involved with this feel validated in the support that they've provided and happy about what we're doing. So what did we get done in 2021? We did obviously tons and tons of art. We got a lot of art done. This is by the way, not just random art creation. All of the art that's being done is geared towards the production of the Design Bible. What is the Design Bible? That's going to be like a 250 plus page long, basically like a graphic novel playthrough of the game without turning on a console or a PC. It's a PDF, maybe at some point we'll be able to print it, but it's a document that is like playing the game, but by flipping through the pages of a book.
Excellent stuff. Yeah, it looks great. Well, it's going to look great. Alex is wangling it. So it's going to be great.
It's good. So yeah, at the top of this list, we got a ton of beautiful artwork done, and all that's going to go into the Design Bible. Again, if you're interested in the art, go over to Patreon, go through all the old posts. You'll see post after post after post filled with tons and tons of great content like this.
There's a lot there now.
The other major accomplishment that we got done in 2021 was the 183-page Alice Asylum story outline. You can see on the page here there is a link that if you click on will take you to the Patreon post in which this PDF is contained. You can download the PDF for free and you can read through that entire document. By the way, that is the whole story of the game. Major, massive, crazy, massive, all the spoilers.
There's 1 or 2 spoilers in there if you look carefully.
So don't read that if you aren't into spoilers. Now, if you don't want to read it, but you're curious about like, did it turn out all right? That was the little video that the live stream started with. If I click on this, can they still hear us talking?
Yes.
I don't think so. Oh, there we are.
Test.
All right. So this video is also up on my YouTube, I think, so you can go and watch it if you want. But Alex put this together, and it contains a bunch of quotes from the people who did read it, and then also provided feedback and also gave us like their story notes and ideas and things like that, but who then wrote a review and basically said like, this is super cool, I really love this is great, right? So if you're curious to know what the fans are saying about this giant narrative outline that we did, you could go check out this video.
Please do.
All right, where were we? So the Design Bible got done. That was a huge accomplishment. And yeah, if you're into understanding like kind of what's going to go into Asylum, that's the place to go. Go and read that, and you'll see not only all the work we've done before and all the art that's connected with that, but you'll also see the roadmap for what's coming next. Next up was that Alex delivered a Design Bible working prototype. So there is a link to that also in the post here. There it is. And so if you're curious to know what the finished Design Bible will look like, that is the thing to go and download. That's a PDF. I think it's like 15 or 20 pages. And what it does is it gives you a sample of what it'll be like to hold that book in your hand, flip into the first pages, and then step through as you kind of play the game on the printed page, right?
Yeah.
And there's a couple of things that this document will be useful for. One is that it's a technical document that makes it so when we do go to develop the game, you've got this entire blueprint for what the game will be. Now, I've said before, that's work that would have to get done no matter what. Typically what happens is that work is getting done at the same time that you're setting up your development team and you're starting work on the game. That means that a lot of times that work ends up being quite rushed and you don't get to get as many interesting ideas in there. Obviously, this time around, we've had so much room to kind of think about and come up with ideas and work back and forth with our fans that, as you can see, it's like going to be chock full of really interesting and really beautiful ideas. So for the team that starts up on development of a new game, they're going to have an amazing guide through what it is that the game encompasses.
Pretty much going to be no excuses for making mistakes. It's all there. It's all written down.
So the other thing that this is going to be very useful for is talking to potential investors and media companies. And I can tell you that we have put the narrative outline in front of potential investors and media companies and things like that. And their reaction to just the narrative outline and the sample of this design document of the Design Bible has generated some of the positive response and what will be the news that we're hoping to announce in the next couple of weeks. So the payoff, fingers crossed, the payoff for this stuff will start to come. Now we're not done with Design Bible yet. That's the next step of what we want to do. But all this work that we're doing, I think, is having a very positive effect on the potential outcome for a new game.
True that.
Now Alex wrote in here kind of an update on the ongoing talks. Again, we've talked about this a million times, that we want to reveal more about these conversations, and that either we're bound by NDAs or we're bound by the etiquette of business development not to come out here and be like, oh, we're talking to company X. And, there's another side to that, which is that it could be a real roller coaster for people if we were coming out and saying all the time that, like, oh, we got in the door at Amazon and we're pitching them, and then Amazon decides to pass. Which, by the way, this type of stuff happens multiple times. We could go to pitch to, say, an Amazon 3 or 4 times at different levels and different departments before something happens there. I'm just using that as an example, but that does go on. And in the midst of all that, you don't really want to be like actively broadcasting the fact that every single meeting you're going to have with these guys, because they don't like when you do that. But there are these conversations going on, and as I've hinted to, there is a big announcement that should be being made in the next couple weeks. We thought it would be before the end of the year, but it turned out that kind of Christmas and some delays in the negotiations jammed that up. So there is that coming.
Sorry.
Yeah, I kind of felt like I made a mistake, that I was told that the deal was done. And then that person said, well, it's not really done. But by that point, because I was so excited about it, and that's my fault. Like, I shouldn't.
Done-ish.
Yeah. I shouldn't have got so excited, because I immediately was like, yes, something's happening. I'm going to go online and talk about it. And then like a week went by and I'm like, hey, dude, so when's this announcement coming? And he goes, oh, yeah, they're still talking. And I'm like, no. So anyway, hopefully we'll be getting there very soon, and you will hear it here first. So that brings us to the end of what we got done in 2021.
A lot of stuff.
There was a lot got done. And again, Alex reiterates the thank you, that we can't do this without you, and we're very happy about being here and what's got done and then what's coming next. So what is coming next? The main thing that Alex is outlining here is that the required amount of artwork for finishing the design Bible with the small team that we have is going to probably take another 9 months of their time at least. It could be more, but again, if you've followed along with the way we've made progress thus far, you kind of have a sense of the flow of the artwork, like how quickly the team is able to get new illustrations, new images done, from the sketch to the initial coloring to the revisions and then to a final image, right? So if you look at it, I think that he's got here that there's 112 art tasks that are necessary to be completed before we can have everything done that's necessary for the design Bible, right? So it's a really simple thing where if you take 112 art tasks and then you assume that there are 4 kind of part-time artists working on this, right? And you divide out the tasks among the artists and the days that are remaining in the year, and you account for little bits of, holidays and whatever. In the midst of all that, you come out with the 9 to 12 months. Now, he attached to this update over there a PDF. So you can actually go and click on this PDF on the Patreon page, and you can download this work in progress, basically like the overview of the work that's necessary to be done between now and being able to say that the design Bible is finished. Did I put that in here? No. I thought I put the PDF where we could look at it really quick.
You just had that picture on
Yeah.
screen.
Well, that's just a picture of Monday. Anyway, if you're really curious about the production details, go click on the PDF and you'll get like the big long list of all the work that is remaining to be done to get all the images done for the design Bible to be finished. Now he's saying that based on what we're looking at in terms of content from the narrative overview and all the art, we're going to end up producing like a 250 plus page book, right? So it is going to be huge and very detailed, but like it's also unprecedented in that I don't know how many other games in the history of game development have produced something this detailed and beautiful, prior to development. So it's going to be
prior to development, probably not many or any.
Right.
But then again, huge and very detailed. I mean, that could describe everything that Alex does. Every single email he sends.
He definitely. That's true. That is. I wonder if his girlfriends describe him that way as well. All right, so this, of course, he does mention that it'll be released digitally and for free when it's done. So there's the work that's going to get done for the design Bible in the coming year.
Mm-hmm.
What else has he got mentioned in here?
Says Oz.
Yeah, so at the end here, he does talk about Oz and says more on that later. So here's a little bit of the more. Because the writing is done on Asylum, I don't have anything to do on Asylum other than like kind of poke the guys about the art and do these live streams and stuff like that. So the thing that I've started working on is the story for Oz. Now we've got, a few pages here and there, and we've got the art that you guys all previously saw shared over on Patreon. I'll probably do a post in the next week or two, which encapsulates the thinking on the story today, and then also represents some of the artwork that you saw previously. And then we've got myself plus Adam Lang, who's our technologist, plus Omri, who are going to actually fire up the Unreal Engine, and we're going to start building, I guess you could call it gray boxes or white boxes, but we're going to take the notion of these episodic stories that are going to be presented in Oz, and we're going to try to find a way that we can start to build demos of what it is that that game might be. And that also means that we are going to kind of have to reinvent the way in which a small team builds content, because the traditional methods of, sort of big AAA game development aren't going to work for a team as small as ours or with the resources that we have. But we have some ideas where you've seen the Unreal Engine being used to build TV shows like The Mandalorian. this notion that perhaps the type of game we could explore towards is one that is part design Bible, like it's an interactive graphic novel of a game, and part 3D platformer action game, something like that. So
Right.
something's suddenly getting downloaded. It's fine.
Nothing new.
So there is going to be some Oz stuff coming. I did do a little kind of jokey, funny tweet last night, because one of the things that I'm working on for the story of Oz is this idea that like there's a period where Oz was Earth, kind of like the pre getting kicked out of the Garden of Eden period for humanity, and then there's this event where like humans are kicked out of the magical kingdom and they're sent out into the cruel reality of the world we live in today to fend for themselves. But what they don't realize is that they still maintain their ability to wish for and change their reality, just by thinking about it, except that there's this kind of unknown curse connected to that when you wish for something, it tries to come true, but you don't often like the changes that are required to make it come true. So it's sort of like the old monkey paw.
Yeah.
The cursed monkey paw dynamic, right? So that is forming up around some of the foundational ideas that exist in this world of magic, the world of real people, and the struggle that man has, and then how that struggle then falls over into Oz and constitutes the episodes that we'll play through in that game.
All right.
Yeah.
Which Unreal should I need to ask?
The latest Unreal. 5. Okay. So that's the end of the recap. That's what we're working on. I'm going to be working on some Oz stuff with Adam, and Alex will continue with the art team working on the design Bible. And of course, I'll be working with them on the design Bible too, because there's still a lot of questions to get raised, and still a lot of work that I can do story-wise on that stuff. But day to day, I'm going to be with Adam Lang and Omri doing more Aussie-related stuff.
Excellent.
What are you going to be
stuff.
doing?
Answering Zendesk tickets
That's
every day
fun.
for the rest of my life. The way things are going. It's kind of busy on the old customer support front over on Mysterious these days.
Are you not freaking out right now?
I saw the little bell, and they probably heard a sound.
Okay, well, let's do it.
Did you hear a sound?
What's the question?
I don't know. I came up with the first two.
I haven't really thought about it, about questions for the prize giveaway. So we're going to do a prize giveaway. You're going to get to win your choice of a Plushie Dreadful. And we need a question to ask in the chat. Man, I don't know.
Oh, maybe it didn't make a sound. Maybe that broke as one of the other many things that broke when we turned the PC on today.
I think Miss Crimson Mischief has hit it there. What is the question? That's the question.
I've asked that before, and you were like, ugh.
Yeah, but
shit question.
I like Miss Crimson Mischief more than I like you, so it's fine. All right, so that's the question. So the question for this prize giveaway is, what is the question? So please let us know in the chat what the question should be, and that'll be your response to the question.
Okay, my question is, why is this question acceptable? Now, what do you like about Miss Crimson?
I don't know. I'm part of it is my voice is starting to go. I'm getting a little tired, so that's
what are we looking forward to for McGee's Oz project? It's an odd. What are we looking?
Will Chris Vrenna be tapped for the Asylum soundtrack? Yes. Why does Martin get picked on? Oh boy, it's an act. It's not real.
It is real.
It's not real.
It is, but luckily it's all water off a duck's back with me because I'm so tough.
It is the nature of our relationship. I think I probably we've talked about this before. I think I do pick on you more than I would anybody else, but it kind of is like the similar relationship that I have, like, for instance, with my friend Jamie from the Follow the Boat YouTube channel. We don't write normal emails to each other. We write emails where he'll be like, hey, insult, insult, insult. How are you? Insult, insult, insult. And then what about insult, insult? And I'm like, God, okay. And then I know that his wife is sat there being like, don't send that, hitting him. And then when I write back to him, I'm like, hey, insult, 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 insult. And then by the way, I saw you insult, insult, insult. And then cheers, insult. And that's
how it works.
There's just relationships like that sometimes. I don't know.
You know what we could have asked? Nobody's said anything. We've got new borders and stuff all over the place now. I don't think I've seen anyone mention it. All of our overlays have been changed this week for no real reason, apparently.
So, which insult is your favorite, says Guitar Beard. So we can't say that because
they'll get cancelled.
So we're just going to keep our insults to ourselves.
Oh, there we go. Sick overlay, bro.
The overlays are gorgeous. Thank you, Alex. We should mention that Alex, as a part of the new year, gave us new overlays
that didn't have weird photoshopped swirls all over them to blank out previous sponsor stuff.
True. All right, we're gonna roll it in a 3, 2, and it is Kyrian Dorasora 2018.
Right.
Korean Desora. I don't know. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. 2018. Congratulations. You've won.
I'm just going to write Kian 2018.
It's not Kian. It's K-Air. K-Air. E-N-D. Sora.
You should have a rule. You can't win if you've got a silly name that we can't pronounce.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, so congratulations, Kian.
It's Kingdom Hearts thing, apparently.
Okay, well, go over and choose whether you're going to get a PTSD bunny, a Preggers bunny, or a sleep paralysis bunny. Comes with its own sleep paralysis nightmare little guy. And do send an email to support@mysterious.design. Include your name, your phone number, mailing address. Do all that in a legible, non-anger-inducing format. Do it within 24 hours. Tell us which of those things that you would like to have shipped to you. And that's it.
Job's a good one.
Okay.
They'll take a little while because they're not quite made.
They are made, but they're
not with us.
Yes.
And right. Global shipping is a little on the poop side at the moment.
It is. That's a
Be aware of this.
That is an understatement.
Really is.
So congratulations. Yes, make sure you send all of your details in Comic Sans. That'd be a brilliant idea.
Each letter in a different color, if you can.
Font.
And font. And size.
Okay.
And kerning.
Well, you're getting specific there. Now, we got 20 minutes left to go in this live stream.
Oh my
God. We covered the game. We covered art. We covered the 2021 recap and what we're doing for 2022. We need to talk about the plushies. We talked about Oz a little bit. Is that it?
Questions?
That's it. You got the questions. All right, let's just do the plushes really quick. But you already know this. If you've been watching the stream, I've already said this like 20 times. New plushes are coming next week. This is sleep paralysis. Obviously signifies sleep paralysis. It's got a little sleep paralysis buddy like that.
I have never had.
I've had it. I had it when I was a kid. And the little sleep paralysis bunny velcros onto the larger bunny and scratches his back. Ow, that looks painful. So they actually velcro to one another, which I find kind of, in the design sense, is a bit odd that you're kind of wrapped into your own little sleep paralysis terror.
That's how you beat it, with hugs.
Not really. And they come in this cool little bag that has the little sleep paralysis monster printed all over it. I like this one. A lot of people seem to be anxious for that one. This was my idea, to give it this sort of like wraparound spider eyes on all sides.
Good idea.
That turned out pretty cool. I just want everybody to know. This is the pregnant bunny, and she has got like a C-section cutaway belly thingy there. And so the idea here, because it's Plushie Dreadfuls, we didn't want to present like the happy, glowy, everything's great side of pregnancy.
Doesn't look that happy.
We wanted to present the like tired, depression side of. By the way, we know this because my wife and I have been through this. Obviously, my wife more than I. But there's phases in pregnancy where you feel very tired, you feel very depressed, you just feel really out of sorts. So this is supposed to represent that. Now, as I mentioned early in the stream, I love posing this as if the babies are chest bursters. I just think that's hilarious. And also, if you have kids, you'll know that they are chest bursters. So these little guys, kits. There are 3 of them. They do fit inside the belly, and you could use them for a non-explosive reveal party. Now, I forget which is the politically correct word to put into that sentence. I think gender reveal is wrong.
It's probably changed like every week since.
Well,
with a new word.
When we first started talking about this, I think gender reveal was okay to say, and then it changed partway through, and I think you're supposed to say sex reveal now, but like, I know, you could go to jail for revealing your sex to people. So I don't know. Whatever you want to call it, the idea is there's these 3 little bunnies inside. And if you're going to do some sort of reveal party, say, for instance, you're going to have like your child's going to come out blue, which, by the way, that's not good. You should see a doctor.
If you're having an avatar alien, we've got blue for that.
But you would put this one in there, and I guess you throw these 2 in the trash. And then you give these rabbits to all your friends, and then at the same time you all open it up, and it's like, oh, I'm gonna have a blue baby. Whatever. Blue signifies boy. This is supposed to be pink, but my white balance was off when I took these pictures, so it's peach. But peach, I guess, signifies girls, and then the little white one is supposed to be gender neutral. So if you want to have a gender neutral, or whatever the phrase is, you throw the white one in there, and so there you go. I could tell a joke, and I'm gonna leave. There are several very funny politically incorrect jokes I could make about, but I'm just gonna leave it alone. I'll leave it to your imagination.
Leave it alone.
But I do like posing this rabbit as if she's dead or like suffering, and then being sort of like eaten or sort of like Gullivered by her own little babies, right? So I think it's very funny. Now, Depression Rabbit. This is one that Yin and Jin are working on now. Jennifer said that she wanted to kind of evoke a sense of a nostalgia about like bunnies you might have had if you were growing up in the 70s. And so it's more like, backpack and overalls and whatnot. So Yen is working on this now. It will have its own little set of clothes, apparently. And it's just going to be floppy and sad and depressed. So we're gonna get that one made. We'll post that up on Instagram so people can do feedback.
Yeah.
This is Dysphoria Rabbit. Now, there have been some incredibly detailed and lengthy conversations about Dysphoria Rabbit. You can see here it's got 154 comments during the crowd design process from people who are interested in this design and in letting us know their experience with the notion of dysphoria. So if you're interested in this conversation and like how we arrived at this design and like who the team was, and this doesn't seem like it wants to load, go over to the this Instagram. There's several Instagram posts, by the way. Like, I'm begging people, please go read all of the posts before raging on this topic. So anyway, this one is, we're gonna get a sample of this. Yin said we get a sample next week. So if you're interested in this one, then you will probably be able to see the physical sample of the first prototype of this next week-ish, sometime around next week.
Excellent. Look forward to it. It's been a long time coming, that rabbit.
Yeah. So we then also have this Relax Mad Cow. This was an idea that Jennifer came up with. It's a cow, but you can punch it in the udders. So, and
just like you can with real cows.
When I was a kid, we used to go cow tipping. Do you know what cow tipping is?
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's not always a good idea. You can get hurt.
MP Sinclair. That's amusing.
Amusing.
It's the simple ones.
I don't know how... we never know how popular looks sick.
Turn it off, kill the whole thing, exit the program from the, yeah, right click, exit. And start again.
Mm-hmm.
Are we actually going to upload this to YouTube, or are we just going to leave this live stream there?
What do you mean? Oh, I see what you mean. But then they'll have this big hole in the middle.
It might not even come back.
All right. Hey.
Are we back?
We are back.
Looks like we're back.
Octo Chicken said he could hear me say hopefully.
That was before.
Oh, I see.
Are we back?
I think we're back. I can see all the data. Like, it's all fine.
Looks
Hello.
it. Looks it.
Just say hi. Where's this Twitch chat? Hi. There we go. Dude. Uh-oh. This is disconnected.
Something's... I think we're good.
But nobody's... Oh, there. Welcome back.
Yay.
Okay. Good. It's working. Yay.
That was a full-on crash of VPN. It wasn't just a disconnect.
That was Astral really crapped the bed that time. That was a pretty big crash. Okay. Thank you for waiting
Yes.
while we
Thank
while
you
we surfed through
for
that. So this cow apparently crashed the internet. Let's not look at that cow anymore. This is PTSD. You've seen that in the stream today. It's one of the prizes we're giving away. Yin is also working on a PTSD t-shirt that's going to be like in some sort of special, I don't know, somehow linked to the release of that. I think you can get the shirt for like $10 if you put it in the cart with the rabbit, something like
Once
that.
you get the rabbit, you will see that as an add-on in checkout.
There you go.
Or when you go to your cart.
Okay, so that's it. I have finished the infomercial section containing the stuff about the rabbits.
It's pretty good.
Well, let's do comments, because you've got
I've got
a
some.
page full of comments over there.
Well, let's see if we can pick out some good uns.
Let's do it.
So this is from the post live stream this week. Yes. When will the live stream be? Which was actually in the post.
Be clear. This is a comment that somebody wrote on the post that was telling them when the live stream would be. I just want to say this is one of my pet peeves as a person who posts things on the internet.
2022, you said you're not going to put up with this anymore.
Very, very frequently that I'll write a post and I'll be like, here is the information you seek. And then the very first comment will be like, where can I find the information that I seek? And I'm like, no! So anyway, now a bunch of them are going to do that just to...
Well,
Yeah.
Austin Cook.
Montrose Chloe says, wait, was there a trans bunny? Yes, there was. Jennifer worked with a team of people to come up with this trans bunny. It's there, Dysphoria Rabbit. Again, if you're interested in that particular rabbit, go over to my Instagram and you will find that there are several posts detailing that rabbit and its design and the design concepts that went into it and all the crowd feedback that we got. And like I said, there will be a physical sample of this rabbit, hopefully arriving with us next week. So if you're curious about that one, yeah, tune in next week. We'll share some pictures on Instagram and stuff like that.
All right. Yep, Austin Cook basically saying, yay, can't wait. It's been such a long time and the images are beautiful. It has been a long time. Was it literally a month since we were here last?
It was quite a while. Somebody is saying there they want an ADHD bunny. We're not going to make an ADHD, whatever. We're not making that. We're going to make an what's wrong with my brain? ADHD bat. Like a little bat. So that design, we're going to get a sample.
What noise do bats make?
Eek, eek, eek.
No.
They do. Oh, some bats sound like that. Fruit bats sound like that. Fruity bats
You
sound
say
like
so.
that. So anyway, there is a ADHD bat coming, and then we'll see the sample of that. Again, I'm pretty sure the ADHD bat is up over on my Instagram. There it is. There's ADHD bat. And again, there's a bunch of
It does look like it makes that noise.
doesn't it? Look at his eyes. His eyes are all looking in two different directions at the same time. So anyway, if you want to see the design for that, again, head over to Instagram.
Wendy J asks, is this the stream where we get the announcement? No.
Sorry, Wendy.
Sorry.
I thought that it was the stream where we were going to make the announcement. That's why we delayed the stream. And then, like I said, I found out from the people who are doing that whole deal that the deal was a bit delayed. So,
moving on to the recap post that we had. Some Rai Sora. 21 and 22 was and is going to be challenging years for everybody. The Design Bible will be ready soon, and we get more news on Asylum and Oz Adventures. There's always news coming, but as we mentioned, a lot of it is sorry we can't say.
there you go.
So, there's always
in
stuff going on.
For the sake of there only being 8 minutes left in this stream, you might want to focus in on the ones that have like questions.
Really wish that they'd start writing questions again when they had questions.
Okay.
I do want to say this add-on to Rai Sora. They suggest that maybe like an Alice animated movie. I've been watching Arcane, an animated TV show in the League of Legends universe. It looks stunning. If you've not watched it, watch it. It's really good. Just watch it for how it looks, but it's a good story too.
Right.
So, yay.
Well, we mentioned actually that should have been in the 2021 recap. I don't know why we didn't mention that. In 2021, we signed a deal with Radar Pictures in Hollywood to have them go out and represent and develop our ideas into film and television. So they are in possession of Alice, Oz, Akinero, a couple different of our projects, and they are presenting those to the big media companies. I mean, he did sort of touch on that a little bit here, that's about the deals and the fact that, you already know who some of the people we're talking to would be. That's work that's being done by Radar. I'm not doing that on a daily basis. That's Radar that's doing it on a daily basis. So that type of stuff, like Rai saying, hey, it'd be great if there was a TV show coming. That is the kind of stuff that we're working on in the background, or that Radar is working on in the background. So hopefully, fingers crossed, there will be something we can talk about in that vein very soon.
Fingers crossed. Okay, Casper Rawshank. I vaguely heard about the first Alice for years. Yesterday watched Ragnarok's thing and immediately signed up to Patreon.
Wow.
Thank you very much, Casper Rawshank.
Appreciate that very much.
Nomi Torres is so excited they are screaming for 2022.
You think they're still screaming like right now?
They just stopped after I said it.
That's good. You freed them from
freed their soul.
Screaming curse. Yes.
Salah, a good year for video games and Asylum. And there's Wendy J talking about the announcements again. Let's skip over that. The farewell to 2021 post. Let's see if I can pluck out any questions here. Not really. Rugner's Custom Creations 2022 is going to be about taking better control of my to-dos. I suppose that's a good resolution to have. I don't really have many to-dos. Maybe that could be my resolution. Get some to-dos.
Start a to-do list.
Start a to-do list. Is there any appropriate channel for those of us who can contribute some concept art? I think you said it wasn't needed, but I'm asking just in case, says Juan Romero. Don't think we've ever asked for that, but I think on the Discord there's an art channel where people share art and thoughts about that stuff.
It doesn't usually work out very well. We've had people send art to us, but in general, they tend to kind of draw outside the lines too much, and then it doesn't really fit in with where we could use them on the team or use that as a part of the project. But yeah, I mean, there's literally nothing stopping anybody from sitting down and being like sketching something awesome and sending it to us. And of course, if somebody did send us something awesome, I mean, who
did that recently?
Well, that happened recently with Gareth.
Gareth.
He was on Twitter and he was like, "Hey, man, how do you recommend that I get noticed by people in the games industry? And I'm like, well, do you have a portfolio? And then I looked at it and I'm like, oh, your portfolio is awesome. I've noticed you. And so then we added it to the team. So, I mean, but what I find a lot of times is that people who write things like this, hey, can I send in art? And then you ask them, well, where's your portfolio? And they go, I don't have one of those yet. And you're like, okay, well, go make a portfolio or start sending in art and then we can go from there.
Yeah. And like you alluded to, you can be an amazing, super duper artist, but it still also has to be the right style.
Correct.
And fit. So no matter how good you are, it still needs to connect.
Yeah, I mean, we did have one of those this year. Somebody that was writing in the comments, or maybe over on Patreon or something, and they were like, hey, I want to do art for you guys. And I really liked their art as I saw it. But as soon as Omri said, hey, can you start doing your art in this other style that fits more with our project? It was, no, that's not going to work. So, yeah.
There you go. Suvi is congratulating you on a tiny tiger this year.
Thank you.
Is it tiger year?
It is the year of the tiger.
Tiger year.
The Chinese year of the tiger we're going into. And apparently to have a tiger and a pig under the same roof, which my son, Lucky, he's a pig. Tiger and pig get along, according to Chinese.
Well, I'm a tiger.
Oh.
And that's why Lucky loves me to death.
That must be it.
That'll be it.
That, or it's all the catnip that you sprinkle all over yourself before you come over.
He loves old Shoo Shoo.
There you go. Grandpa Shoo
Shoo. Queen of Arts is also giving you congrats for the baby, as is Sunblinker.
All right, thank you.
What's this? That one's not really a question. Okay, was the speak words. The 'twas the night before Christmas post. Austin Cook, loving the final Alive and Mirrors image that we were looking at earlier. Is that what they're called? I guess this is mirrors. Well, the other one's a mirror as well, but this is mirrors. Maybe he means this one.
Yeah. What's this?
Yes. Yeah, loving them all, and bigging up to Gareth's storyboards as well. As well you should.
There's some good images in this one. There is a revised version of this, by the way. I don't know why I was using this. Is the older one where he's got this notion of her kicking the door, which I found this leg bit here to be quite odd. So anyway, there's odd. There is a newer version of this. I knew how to interpret it, but it took me a second to do it. And then I wrote to them and I was like, hey, that's weird. Can you make that?
I didn't look super closely at that bit, but I thought it was a top down.
No, that's her.
That was her walking on a checkered floor.
No, she's kicking the checkered door after he gets ripped up and the door gets slammed. It's a little, anyway. So, anyway, there's another version of that that's newer that I can post up later on.
Dark Angel Kenner mentions this, and I thought I saw it in some comments. Maybe I deleted them. Loved the family photo on social media. It was a good photo.
Yeah, so that one was really funny because a bunch of people on Instagram and on Twitter and different places, there were quite a few comments of people saying, which one is your wife? Which, of course, my wife's mom, who's in this picture, thought was hilarious and flattering.
Which one's your wife's mum, though?
Yeah. So they spent 1 hour putting makeup on my wife's mum, and no hours putting makeup on the rest of us, although Yen did her own makeup, obviously. And so she came out looking lovely, though. You know, she looked really good. And this, by the way, this photo session was Yen's birthday present to her mom, because Yen's mom's birthday is on December 16th. I'm on the 13th. So Yen gave her... What's so funny?
Question.
Is your wife single? That's a good one. Yes, and pregnant. Go for it. If you really...
How about it?
You're often out there looking for the single pregnant women, are you?
Anyway. Okay. Yeah, we seem to have I don't know if it's a new patron, but this Gary Macy character is writing a lot in our comments these days.
Right.
So whoever you are, Gary Macy, I see you. I see your comments. They say, that, whoa, the pictures are stunning. I was transported there into a fragment of what Alice's reality must have been like for a second.
I always wonder what this Gary's name means. This Annie Faye Kusanagi.
Kind of worried that it's something terrible.
It probably is.
Like Annie Faye is like
it's on the
a
internet.
terrible internet group of people or something.
Yes. Whitney's in love with the vase in the picture.
Good vase.
It is.
Vase or vase?
Lucky almost chucked it on the floor and broke it.
Lucky he didn't.
Yes, lucky he didn't. Ha ha.
And the Radcliffe's Demons post, Logan Massey. Can I say that monster design is so scary and traumatic for me after seeing a trailer for Human Centipede? What was the
I'm going to find the post now.
Demons?
That was quite a while ago.
There it is.
Oh, that's right. So this was meant to be this was a crowd design post. And so do you have some people's great suggestions for what the crowd design should be?
I got some suggestions
Okay.
here, I guess.
Well, so let's just do a really quick overview of what this was. So I posted this up as a crowd design. I forgot about this because it was like weeks ago. So we posted up about Radcliffe's Demons. By the way, this is a big spoiler. I don't know what to tell you. If you don't want to know about what comes at the very end of Alice Asylum, I suppose you need to close your ears for a moment.
Close your earballs.
So maybe as long as Martin is holding up this OCD rabbit, hold up the OCD
I have
rabbit.
to hold up the rabbit. Okay.
It's not going to kill you. What? It's a rabbit.
When
It
the
weighs like
rabbit
100.
goes, the spoilers have ended.
Okay. So as long as that rabbit is on screen, spoilers. Red eyes, spoilers. Here's the deal, is at the end of the game, Alice has saved herself, and then she begins to go to save the children who were previously sold by Radcliffe and Bumby into various forms of slavery, right? Because that was their enterprise. Bumby was grooming children for then selling on to customers, and there's a ledger, there's clear evidence that there's multiple of these children over the course of years that Bumby groomed and sold. So in the course of her story in Asylum, adult Alice discovers this. And then in the reunification with the child and the shadow, she opens the gateway to the notion of other lands. That is, that Alice is able to bridge the gap between her own psyche and the psyche of another individual and enter into their brain and go and scramble their brain if she wants to. I mean, I guess she could go in there and like tickle your brain if she was your friend. But what you will see towards the end of the game is that she uses this power against Radcliffe. You know, he's pointing a gun at her, and she goes woof and into his brain, and she's going to confront him inside of his own psyche. So this crowd design post asks the question of how would you envision the enemies that Alice fights inside Radcliffe's mind. So let's, I guess, talk about, and we did post up a couple of like the more interesting boss creature. This is Crawley that Joey did ages ago. So that is the setup. Now, I guess at this point, spoilers can be finished because if they don't hear that, it doesn't matter.
Yeah. Wendy J says, without audio, it's just a man monologuing and another man cuddling a rabbit. But we could say anything we want about Wendy J now. She's not listening.
All right, don't be mean to Wendy. Okay, let's take the rabbit. Okay, spoilers are over. You can come back. Where's my hands? Come back. Spoilers are over.
Alice is a scanner. That monster design is so scary and traumatic. I like Crawley. It's good. It's a good monster. I like all of those, especially the ones like knives and forks legs that was done.
Okay,
that was a good one.
So yeah, that's a creature called Crawley. That is not a spoiler, by the way, but that was one of the early designs that Joey did, which I liked that quite a lot. She did quite a few kind of like creepy doll part enemies back in the day.
She did. Yeah. Karma Chameleon said something regarding scales, perhaps like weighing scales. Balancing his actions versus the people he hurts. So this is a monster that has weighing scales on it, I guess? Like lots of gnashing teeth for insatiable greed.
So I saw that, like, was it Austin or somebody else who wrote something around the... I don't know.
Austin is mentioning a creature that appears to be made of words themselves, like
exactly.
a monster alphabet.
Exactly. That's what I saw that. So I thought that was a pretty cool one.
Kind of reminds me of that Pirate Jam game.
There was a Pirate Jam game where you were an old Western spaghetti shooter or something like that. So Karma says something about scales, like weighing scales. That would be the scales of justice. The thing is that in Radcliffe's mind, the scales of justice are broken. So I don't think that that's correct. I think when you think about what powers the psyche of someone like Radcliffe, it's that he's created multiple edifices of defense against the kind of monster that he truly is. Like he doesn't want to recognize himself for the monster that he is, right? So he'll use weasel words and he'll use legal jargon and he'll use twisted logic to maintain his notion of like how he's actually doing some good in the world when in fact he's doing quite the opposite. And when I talked to Alex about this section of the game, we did mention the fact that in the confrontation that Alice has with him towards the end of the game with Radcliffe, he does hold himself out as faultless, and especially in comparison to Bumby, because Radcliffe can say, hey, for me it was just business, but for Radcliffe, for Bumby it was something gross and sexual, right? So Radcliffe has managed to convince himself that selling people isn't as bad as Alice thinks that it is, right? Which just makes the destruction of him as a character even more satisfying. So Austin Cook suggested to have a creature made from words themselves. I think that was a pretty cool idea. I know somebody talked about, Angel Wings talks about a clockwork spider. There was one in here that I saw that I thought was really cool. Which one?
I'm still unsure about monsters made of words. I'm seeing it in game, and it reminds me of like modern kind of like short stories that you see in like TV and stuff, where somebody's in a simulation but the simulation breaks, so they look at a door and instead of a door they just see like the word door,
right,
and like the word vase or table instead of where the thing should be. So I don't know if I'm sold on that.
Right. So Megan talks about here dark and twisted shadow-esque creatures, numbers carved into their torsos. I think that's good, but it's kind of more like those would be his inner demons. I think what I'm looking for here is what would be the things that are like the guard creatures within his psyche. How would you see his defenses manifest themselves? So I think we're still going to dig around on this a little bit. I'll go through these comments one more time. I felt like I previously saw somebody mention something that was pretty cool, but I'm not sure that I'm seeing it again here. So yeah, we'll dig around inside of here a little bit and see if we can find it.
Charlotte also says translations would be odd too. You have to translate the monsters in game.
Right. Anyway, so that was the design challenge here. I'll dig through these comments in more detail later on. I don't want people to think that we're discounting what was written here. But I had actually forgotten that we'd sent this up prior to Christmas. And I do want to dig into this a little bit more. And then because we need to give some direction to the artists as to what these monsters look like. So,
all right.
There you go.
There you go.
Is that it?
That's it.
Oh, well, that was easy.
It was.
And we only had one VPN death.
So far.
Okay.
Quick, end the stream.
So, is that it? We covered pretty much everything. Unless anybody in the chat has questions or things that you think we missed.
I guess we need a question for the final giveaway.
We do need a question for the final giveaway. I actually have one question. I guess you're going to answer it as a binary, like a yes or a no. But I'm curious to see everybody in the chat there answer the question. I guess the question, I'm going to phrase it like, are you consuming spoilers? Because I want to see people say, yes, I am consuming spoilers, or no, I'm not. Because I'm very curious, like, how many people are trying to avoid spoilers.
All right.
So look. Anyway, that's the question. So answer in the chat, are you consuming the spoilers? Are you listening in or reading the text and the art and stuff like that, or is it no?
There's a lot of yeses coming in so far.
I don't know. Ghibli girl, you can't answer I don't know.
I don't know if I've been spoiled yet.
So there's a lot of yeses in there. Yeah, that's good. I'm hearing them that they fly right through. Yeah, I mean, as I've said before, I think by the time that this game comes out, let's say that we even started like on development tomorrow, and then it took 2 years for the game to get done, you won't remember what we're talking about 2 years from now. So I might, because I have a weird brain like that, but I don't think
I hope you do in 2 years. I hope you remember
I've
the
forgotten
story.
what's this game we're working on. So yeah, but there's a lot to remember as well, so
There
I mean,
is.
if you try to go back and watch a movie that you haven't seen for 10 years, you can remember the general outline of it, but you don't remember like the dialogue and the exact twists and turns and stuff like that. So
Yeah,
especially not if you drink as much as we do.
maybe.
There you go.
I watched From Dusk Till Dawn the other day.
Ooh, that's a
not
good
seen
one.
that in about 10 years.
Antonio Banderas at his finest.
Salma Hayek at her finest.
I mean, if you gave me the choice, I'd go to bed with Antonio first. So
You want to snuggle Antonio.
well, you would too. So Wendy says, I don't mind little spoilers, but I don't want to spoil the end because I absolutely love this game already, and I want the first playthrough to be extra special. I know I'll forget the little things, but I'm sure I'll think about the important stuff like every day. There you go.
There you go.
Wow, that's a good answer, Wendy.
Danny Trejo.
Okay, I am going to
Roll it!
roll it, and where did Nightbot go? I hope Nightbot didn't crash. 3, 2, 1. There we go.
Celesti Cafe 7.
Celeste Cafe 7. There you go.
Celesti Cafe.
Okay, congratulations, Celeste Cafe 7. You have won the Nightbot roll of random magic. So you need to send a email to support@mysterious.design. Include your name, your phone number, your mailing address, and your selection of which of these fine Plushie Dreadfuls that you would like. PTSD. Oh, you can't see what I'm looking at there. PTSD, Bun in a Bun, or Sleep Paralysis.
Mm-hmm.
And we will get one of those mailed out to you ASAP. Do please send your response within 24 hours and write it in a format that doesn't cause Martin's head to explode.
It's all new people this week.
That's good.
Usually we'll get an oldie regular winning something, but
Oh,
they're
you
all
mean
new.
of the winners, yeah. Well, I think we have a lot of new viewers this week. Probably has
Well, it's
something...
actually a pretty good view count.
I'm going to guess it has something to do with all of the viewers we added from Ragrock's channel. I'm sorry, dude. I really loved your video. I just don't remember how to say your name.
Ragnaroks.
It's not Ragnarok.
It's Ragnaroks with
Oh,
ROX.
Ragnarok. Yeah, I think that's right. I'll get it one of these days. Oh yeah, somebody posted this up on Twitter that I guess Bambi is going to be in the public domain soon. So then I was like, ooh, I could do that. You know that
American McGee's Bambi.
that would be awesome. Do you know that Winnie the Pooh is now in the public domain? So we could do a Winnie the Pooh, like violent Winnie the Pooh game. Yeah. I was going to see if I could find the Ragnarok. There it is. Ragnaroks. That's the one. Okay, you were right. You were right. So
right.
Anyway, I'm assuming that a lot of you that are new here came because you saw Ragnar Rocks' video. So welcome and thank you again to Ragnar Rocks for the wonderful love letter to American McGee's Alice. I hope we can do all that justice with the work we're doing on Asylum. And I hope that some of you who've come today will stick around and join us for the rest of this crowd design adventure of the new, what's-he?
The new Watsy.
Somebody says, did you just start streaming? No, we crashed 27 minutes ago and came back. So we've actually been streaming for 2 hours and 15 minutes now.
Indeed we have.
Yes.
I have to check what that did to YouTube, though.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe we will have to end up doing the upload instead of leaving it live.
You know, it's funny. Somebody Homo erectus made the joke about China and Winnie the Pooh. This is one of those really funny ones that you could go and easily debunk. China did not ban Winnie the Pooh, but this is a really common misconception that a lot of people in the West have about Winnie the Pooh. You can go on Taobao right now and buy and purchase and find tons of Winnie the Pooh stuff. And my son wears Winnie the Pooh pajamas to bed every night, and the police don't come and take him away. So, but people think that it's banned, and they think it's banned because the premier president of China, Xi Jinping, took offense to the notion of him being compared to Winnie the Pooh and Obama being compared to Tigger. What they always leave out of that was that the first ever appearance of the comparison between those two figures happened in the Chinese media. And that was not a big deal. People in China think Winnie the Pooh is super cute. And when you compare their leader to Winnie the Pooh, no one gets upset about it, just like nobody got upset about Obama being compared to Tigger. So you still see this popping up quite often. So
Learn something new every day.
yes, it's true. So yeah, Winnie the Pooh is okay here in China. What else? That's it.
I was going to say we need to do the 4 things, which is now 5 things.
Okay.
But I mean, I was going to half mention the potential of a jigsaw.
Go for it, and I'll pull up this this here page.
Yeah, it's been a while since we've actually done like a new sort of major thing on Patreon. That's not just the normal, like an art print month or whatever we've got as the tiers. I had the idea, and I've had it for a while, because I keep seeing a puzzle shop nearby where I live. How does everyone feel about jigsaws? If we actually did a jigsaw of one of our prints, and it was literally like the same size as one of the prints when it was done, how do you feel about that?
Wait, we're going to do a jigsaw the size of one of those prints? Jesus, that's huge.
Well, we could
That'll
get
weigh
quotes.
like 2 kilos or
We'll
something.
get quotes for different sizes.
I thought we were going to do like a little,
Oh no, it's got to be decent sized,
All right,
so
well,
they can frame it if they want.
All right. So we're gonna
We're
quotes.
investigating.
We're gonna investigate.
We have engaged one of the factories we know, and we're looking into it.
And we're also in the process of trying to find a factory to do a reprint of Out of the Woods, the card game, and some of the book stuff as well. So
yeah, Yenny needs to talk to those guys. They really slack at replying to me. Maybe they just don't want our business.
yeah, we're working on it. Also, we're heading into Chinese New Year, so a lot of people are just like, "Nope, I'm out. Gonna go rest for a while." So don't forget that.
Yeah.
Okay,
the 4 things, and then we'll add an extra thing at the end.
I'm gonna let you do this because I'm losing my voice. Go for it.
Thing number 1, if you would like to support us, this is one of the free things, sign up to our mailing list. You can look at all these on AmericanMcGee.com. Sign up to the mailing list. Please don't use fake email addresses. It doesn't help us. Just real ones, if you would. Please, thank you very much.
We don't send anything to that mailing list, by the way, like once a
Very
year.
rarely.
And I am going to send a year-end update to that mailing list, and I'm hoping that I'm waiting for this potential super good news because I want to put that in there. So there'll be like the one email that goes out in the last 12 months. It'll have the update about everything we've accomplished so far, what comes next, and hopefully it'll have that blob of good news.
Yes, follow the stuff we be doing on social media. As you can see them all there, Facebook, Instagram, Twitch, YouTube, Grindr. They're all there.
And they're in the shape of a T for some reason.
For some reason. Then next we go into the, if you've got a few extra pennies laying around type of methods. We do have a Patreon, as I'm sure you've heard us mention quite a lot. Go over, take a look. All the posts we do unlock after 3 days anyway, so you can have a look at what we've been doing. Take a look at the tier structure as well, in case you like the look of any of the prints that we've done or are doing. So yeah, head over to Patreon, take a look. And we do have a store called Mysterious, where we sell a bunch of stuff. Lots and lots of plushies these days, but there are also like t-shirts, wallets, what else we got on there? Keychains, bits and bobs. Lots of quirky bits and bobs.
Shirts.
So, yeah.
Ian's been making lots more sweaters and stuff these days.
Jewelry.
There you go.
Prints. So, yeah, go over, check out Mysterious. Was it? AmericanMcGee.mysterious.com?
Mysterious.design. Just type in mysterious.design. There you go.
The 5th thing I was going to mention is a little bit of a niggly concern I have with what's been going on with Mysterious. Global shipping be effed. So I have a concern that we are soon going to get completely hammered on our Trustpilot score. Trustpilot score by people who are very upset that stuff's still not arrived. And, you know, we are very sorry. We wish that global shipping wasn't messed up. We do have a guarantee for lost in transit if it comes to that. We will sort you out. So yeah, I have a concern that we're going to get hammered with a lot of 1-star reviews. So this is not me asking you to go over there and fake 5-star reviewers, but this is me asking, go over to our Trustpilot page if you've used our store, review us fairly and justly, however you think we are worth.
So, you know, for everybody who knows Martin, he does have a bit of OCD, and it bugs him that in his job in helping people to be satisfied about their experience at Mysterious, that there are people that are dissatisfied.
I mean, some of the recent ones, I've talked to them and I've explained the situation, and they still come and rate us 1 star for being shit.
You know, the sad part is that when it comes to ratings like this, people can only click 5 or 1. There's no...
You get some others.
There's no...
It's mainly 5 and 1.
There's no in between for a lot of them. I mean, this person did do a 4 for some reason, even though she says everything's perfect. So anyway, yeah, there are a few people showing up in there that are angry that they didn't get their order, and, you know...
So yeah, I'm not asking for fake reviews. I'm asking for real reviews because I'm confident that I think we provide a good service. So
hey, Pastel Witch 613 says, sounds like you're dealing with Karens.
Well, I'm not really probably allowed to comment on that.
So I think that's it. Anyway, I just want to say I think you're doing a fantastic job, Martin. And I think 99% of our customers, well, actually, according to this, 83% of our customers are fine. And don't worry about it too much.
It used to be 4.6, that rating.
It's, yeah, I'm sure that 0.1 is keeping you up at night. I'm very sorry.
It really does.
Anyway, so we're good there. We'll get through that. We'll get through the holidays once again.
Yeah.
Okay. I think that's all. So thank you, everybody who joined us today. Congratulations to everyone who won a prize. We will try to be back in 2 weeks' time, though we can't promise that because Chinese New Year is coming. But for sure, I'm like fingers crossed that this announcement's going to happen. And when and if it does happen, we will probably do a special emergency live stream, and Martin can zoom in to that, and we can talk about that news when and if it comes. Fingers crossed. So we would hopefully see you again relatively soon, and if not, we'll see you maybe in 2 weeks, and if not that, we'll see you after
in
Chinese,
the future.
After Chinese New Year. I don't know. That's it. So
all right. So I guess get out the kitchen, get bent, jib it up, and all that jazz.
Bye-bye.